Word to the cloud. Here we go. Recording in progress. But you know what? This is good. Mike is coming in. He loves to hear me sing. Whoa. Hey. Okay. And hi, everybody. Welcome. Oh, we got Dina. Welcome. Welcome, my good people. Come on in to the Zooms. How does that song go? David, I know you love this song.
It's
If you
Billy
said
Joel.
goodbye
It took
to
me a
me
second. You were singing for the
tonight,
longest time. Yeah.
there
I had to kind of
would
sing
still
the song in my
be.
head. Luckily not outside for everyone. And yeah, Billy Joel for this time.
Yes, good to hello from the evening in the UK. Yeah, I really like to do intro music because it's like a fun time, but then YouTube is like mad at me about it because I don't own the rights to these things. But my a cappella singing, you know, that's just for you all. It's a gift on this Thursday. Maybe one day it'll be David. We'll just pass the mic. But hello, my people. Welcome, welcome. We have a small but mighty session happening today, although I reckon it'll just continue to, our numbers will fluctuate on this autumn day. The link in the email didn't work right away. How did you hack your way in? Interesting. Okay, that might be something. Let me like, okay, give me a second, my team. David, tell the people how everybody's doing, and I will make sure that the education team email didn't work. Okay, well, there we go. David, how are you?
I'm fine. So Siobhan, perhaps when you speak, Dina, I'm not sure if you're raising your hand or moving your mic. Oh, you're moving your mic. Okay. I'm not sure, Siobhan, if the link is bad or what it is, but yeah, if you can let the education team know, maybe they can shoot out a corrected email. If anyone has an idea of what is going on, let Siobhan know. You can type it in the chat or something. It is weird to only have 15 people on. So
But I mean, what a
yeah.
lucky, y'all are the email the training team, but email link didn't work. Oh, okay. Let me ask them to, okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of collateral here to just like get people.
Oh, someone's saying it had a 20% sign. Oh, I know what it is. Siobhan, can
Yes.
you text Andrew and
Okay.
let him know that the SSL is wacky?
On
Our SSL is being updated today, our SSL certificate,
oh,
and that will
okay.
prevent, yeah, I would assume that that is the issue. Yeah, I'm sure it's well, not sure, pretty darn sure.
Well, it
I'm
should
looking
work.
at some
The
notes that
link is,
people are writing.
yeah, the link is in our socials as well. So if people see it there, I'm dropping the link into the education team. Hey, loves, that is the Zoom. Sorry, wow. Don't you all love live events? We're just like troubleshooting in the moment. I could continue to sing Billy Joel. Would that help alleviate this
No, but I'll tell you,
situation?
I was on I attended a meet. Oh, sorry, Siobhan, I was speaking over you. No,
No, go
I
ahead,
attended
David.
a live meeting about 2 weeks ago, and the presenter was claiming that evidently there were like 3,000 or 4,000 people on. It was a pretty large thing. And in the middle of a sentence, no more than 30 seconds or possibly a minute at most into the presentation, her mic went dead. And so we could see her, but could not hear her. And I think that, like myself, a lot of people are texting her saying, you know, can we get in? We can't hear you. Texting, question panes, the feedback pane, nothing worked. She wasn't getting the message, and she just kept talking and talking. And all the people were saying, like, I can't hear her. Can you? And about 2 hours later, we got an email from the company saying, sorry, she went through almost the entire hour-long presentation, and then only then realized that she was off mic. So that is not fun. Yeah, that's the life of live presentation. So listen, guys, while Siobhan is getting us going, speaking with our office, I can tell you some good news that the voiceover industry seems to be buzzing. Now, this is only based upon two things. It's based upon our own production studio. We are casting and producing more projects than we have seen in a very, very long time, to the point that it has become very challenging at Edge Studio, but that's a good problem to have. But also, this information is coming from a lot of voice actors who I've been speaking with, who are saying they're just seeing an increase in work, and that is great. And whether that is nearing the end of the pandemic, or perceived the end of the pandemic, or it's time of year, the economy, who knows what it is, but you guys should know that there is work out there right now. It sure seems to be quite busy. So it might be a really good time to get out there and start marketing. With that said, Siobhan, have you gotten your letter off to the education team and to Andrew? And if so, let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going. So what I did was I just made sure everybody has the link if people are getting questions. But you know what? Y'all worked to be here. However you found this link, and so the trophy goes to the Zoomy. The Zoomy goes to all of you. And hey, let's have like a small but mighty session here. Let's get some good questions going, because we are, yes, hi Michael. Also, I'm so happy to see everybody, and it's great to have you. It's great to have Dina back with us. We got Micah doing his Colorado thing. And okay, I know your name. I actually feel like I know your name, but it says kicking right now in your Zoom square. Yeah. And that's good. Let's have a Thursday of that, please. Tom, it looks like a lot of natural light is happening in your square. And I'm really appreciating the sunshine when we can get it. Okay, my people. So this is probably no one's first session, but it is more than my first or David's first. It is in fact our 40th 40 session, which is a big number. It's so big because like neither David or I are even that old. Yesterday I did turn 21, just so you all know. It was my birthday. So you can send your love letters to the education department. We'll be accepting them, or gifts. The studio actually is closed. But yeah, and I put on Edge Socials that I was 21. It was as a joke, you guys. And like this woman was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so sophisticated for a 21-year-old." So if anyone was wondering, am I sophisticated? I am. In fact, the internet has told me so. So thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thanks so much, Bruce. It's great to have you here. Deborah is connecting to audio. All right. Turning this into a group coaching session. That's not a terrible idea. It's just me and David. Initially when we began this thing, I was like, what if David and I hung out, get this, side by side in Edge Studio, and I was going to be interviewing him. And I would just like give him different questions in an interview format. And it would be like me hanging out with David Goldberg, which is a cute idea. So, but then this thing that was in February, which was cute of us, and then this
Of
thing
2020.
happened in March of 2020. February of 2020. And so when we did this on Zoom for the first time, I said, let's just do it on Zoom. I like Zoom. Let's try it. We'll be remote. It'll be me and David. And David was like, that was so fun. Let's do it again. And I was like, great. When do you want to do it? And David is like, bi-weekly. And then Johnny Heller, he like saw it and was like, wanted it on some action. He was like, well, why don't you guys interview me? Because
Johnny Heller is he's an audiobook specialist and one of our coaches. Let the people know.
Yes, Johnny Heller is our audiobook expert here at Edge. And he's fantastic and quite the extrovert. So he's like, well, I should be on this thing. Why are you guys doing this thing, without me? So then we were able to start doing guest stars and things like that. So I'm super excited about our next session. We will be interviewing, or guest starring rather, Isa Diaz, and that will be on the 21st. And we've never had him on this panel before, so it will be super fun. But for now, you know what? Like, it's officially autumn, and we're all, basically 21 here too. So congratulations, 21-year-olds, for making it to our session. Hey, what's up? Welcome, Dan. Thanks for joining us. You look great. Your space looks wonderful. Yeah, nice lighting in a dark, quarters of a home studio. It's a challenge. All right, so here we go. We got a chat going on. Dan, I don't know if you've been with us before. You may have, but what we do is we hang out for the most part. David likes the band Journey. We like to make jokes about that. We like to drink a lot of coffee here. Some of us hydrate, some of us don't. But no, everyone does because they're voice actors. So we behave well. We are all over the country. Let us know how you're doing. And Dan, thanks. That's so kind. So let's take this time to drop some questions about what is going on with your stuff that you want to know, that you think David could be helpful with. Yeah, I think that's all I really is that all I really want to say? Oh, you can have your Zoom experience, your view button in your top right corner. I'm a gallery mode kind of gal because I like to see your all beautiful faces. But if you want to, pop up your speakers, you can choose the speaker mode, and then you'll see my face blown up. But you know what? I don't blame you for that either. Okay, here we go. Todd, with us always. Micah, thanks for laughing at my jokes. Todd, back in January, he asked if he could pause his coaching during a pandemic, and David gave me a resounding no. So after one of the longest gestations known to humankind, I finally recorded my demo last Tuesday in studio, no less. And I want to give a shout out to Danielle, Kevin, Kendra, Suzanne. Yes, thank you. I'm so glad that that went well. And boy, I'm a huge Kevin fan, so I'm so glad you got to be in his good graces for recording. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Dino, congratulations to you, Todd. Micah, you're the best. Okay, we will behave. We behave well. Yeah, that's what we do here. We're well-behaved people. David, so you're talking about how the VO universe things are going well. Okay, here we go. For demos and auditions, is there anything that is an immediate turn off? Let's start with demos, actually, since that's a two-part question. David, what is an immediate, when you're listening to people's demos like you do, what is the first thing that you or the most common thing maybe when you listen to a demo that turns you off, to use Michael's language?
Yeah, that's a new question. That's a good question. Let me walk through the various steps of that first impression. The first impression that we receive or that we have given a demo is when a voice actor sends it to us and they send us a broken link. So that's a turnoff. Second thing is when a voice actor says, hey, visit my website and listen to my demos, and we click on their website and we can't find their demos, which is oddly a very common issue. If we actually find the demo or it has been sent to us, very often not very often, but sometimes the file is just, it doesn't open. There's some antiquated file or some weird file name where something is wrong with it. Then quite often and very often, in fact, I'd say at least, at least 60, 70% of the time, the file name is just wacky, which is weird and a turnoff. So rather than just saying, for example, David Goldberg voiceover demo or something of the sort, it might be demo final. Now think about that, guys. I understand that if you have your final demo, you may put it in your own files in your own computer as demo final or even final demo. But if we like your demo and we download it, we don't really want it called demo final or final demo because that doesn't mean anything to us. In other words, what you want on your demo or your file name of your demo is a chance to brand yourself, put your name there. Secondly, by putting your name in the file name, when your prospective client downloads your demo, then when they search for your demo, they can find you by the file name, right? If I'm searching for Mary's demo, I look under M for Mary, not under D for demo or F for final. Further to that point with file names, an astounding number of demos come in with unnecessary characters in them in the file name. So we may get Mary demo version or V2 or B. And well, that doesn't mean anything to us. We just want the demo. We may get two demos in an email that says demo commercial and the other one is commercial demo. And then we're left thinking, well, why do they have two commercial demos and which one would I listen to? Or we may get demo A, demo B, and demo C. Well, now, if a client wants to hire a commercial voice actor or a narration voice actor, do I have them listen to demo A or B or C? In other words, the file name is can really be a turnoff. Next thing with the demo, if the sound, once we listen to the demo, if the sound quality is not pristine, that is a big time turnoff, guys. It's not even worth taking the time to market the demo that doesn't sound good. Next thing, if the first segment on the demo is a company, well, let me say this differently. If the first moment of the demo is an unrecognizable word, then that's a turnoff because our assumption is, well, you slur your words. Now, maybe maybe you're actually reading a documentary. It's a segment from a documentary, and the first word of the segment is someone's name, but the name is very bizarre, very unique. Well, if it's not clear, if it could be interpreted as a slur or mispronunciation, that doesn't bode well. So you want to make sure that at least the opening of your demo makes logical sense to the listener. So those are just some things that come to mind. I could
Those are
probably gab on that topic for an hour after
those
listening
are
to quite some
fantastic.
number of demos in my time.
Yeah, and it's funny to bring this up when our link was busted. But you know what? We did the busted link as an example. Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't. And the thing I was going to say, for my my freelancers out there, which this is a freelance a gig where you're often doing pitching and sending your stuff out to folks like David. Um, for me, if I'm doing that kind of work like later in the night and I'm like schedule sending, my emails so they go out the next morning, but I'm writing them later, I might be more apt to make those kinds of broken link mistakes. So knowing yourself and when you can actually look over your stuff so that you don't feel like you acted the fool in your email and therefore embarrassing yourself and ruining your chances, sort of thing. But you know what? It does happen. We are humans, but it's definitely, to David's point, one of the biggest turn-offs in that regard. David, also really
Yeah,
good
wait,
question.
Siobhan, let me throw in. Wait, I'm sorry. I just had this. This has nothing at all to do with voiceover, but an interesting thought, guys. I just thought of this based upon what you said, Siobhan. It would be
Mm,
so cool if in your email client, whether you're using Mail or Yahoo or whatever, if there was a little check mark box you could check off that was labeled "Do not send." And that way, you could actually begin a reply to the person, right? You receive an email and you hit reply and you want to type out a letter, but you're not really ready to send it. You check off this little box that says "Do not send." And that way you can't accidentally send the email until you unclick that box. What I actually do sometimes, and actually maybe this is appropriate for voiceover, if I'm responding to a production client and I type out something, yes, yeah, we can get your recording done by 3 o'clock on Friday. And then I think, oh no, wait, maybe we can't. Right now, I want to just call our office and make sure that the availability is there. So what I actually do is I go into the email address and I delete the last letter of the email address. So if it's going to bob@adagency.com, I'll delete the M so I can't accidentally send the email, or I'll delete the CUM. Do any of you ever do that? Show of thumbs or anything? No, it's just me. I think it's just me. Oh, got a couple thumbs up. Yeah, because you're concerned about sending an email. I think the point here is, guys, make sure when you I'm trying to tie this back into voiceover. Okay, I'm trying real
bring
hard.
it back.
When
Yep,
you
you got
market
this.
when you're emailing a client, when you're emailing a potential client, an existing client, even if it's just the billing department to get your pay, make sure your email is finalized. You've reviewed it, and so I would say if you before you shoot off a quick email, just put it aside for 5 minutes or an hour if you can, and come back and review it once before you send it. Because we do get a lot of emails with typos. And that is another turnoff, guys. When we're hiring voice actors, if we get emails from someone with lots of typos, it doesn't bode well, right? We can hire another voice actor who doesn't have all the typos. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, anything that can be used against you could be. Um,
Yeah, it will.
to that point, actually, I love this question too. It makes me what I'll say too is I've had folks send me demos as well, like asking for criticism, and it's like they've made them in their home studio situations or maybe even a less than home studio, and it just sounds so bad that I can't really critique it. So like understanding a professional level of quality that you need is going to be imperative. But to that end, let's say it sounds professional enough, I guess. But how long? Well, I don't know, David. How long do you listen to a demo before you make up your mind on the prospect of hiring that person?
Yeah, well, a number of factors. I mean, it depends on why I'm listening to a demo. If I'm listening to a demo just to consider whether or not someone should be in our roster, that's a very different type of listening than if I'm about to hire someone. If a voice client says to us, "Hey, we want to hire either this person or that person," then I listen in a very different way. Um, with demos, the most important thing with the demo is that it sounds real. Everything on that demo sounds professional and it sounds real. Your job as voice actors is to convey this element of trust to your potential client. You want the potential client to listen to your demo and say, yeah, you know what? This person sounds really good. Clearly, they have some experience, and we can hear it in their demo, and we feel that we can trust them when we hire them to record from their home studio. So it's that's like the number one thing. And for that reason, all of this on your demo needs to sound real. They need to sound like real spots or real narrations or real animation clips. The music has to be real. It is amazing how many demos we get with even good very good audio quality, but the music is so outdated. You think, well, either that person uh, hasn't done real work or they haven't done real work in 20 or 30 years. There's so many things that we listen for different reasons. So back to the initial question, Siobhan, I've seen an average. I've seen that the average person listens to a demo. They listen to the first 2 to 3 seconds. Then they typically skip forward to the middle of the demo. They'll listen to another few seconds. Then they skip to the end of the demo. They listen to the last few seconds. If they like the demo, then they may go back and listen to the entire thing. That is on average how people listen to demos. But like I said, the average is made up of all, extremes. So yeah, if we're listening to an audiobook demo, now this is a long answer, sorry, but if we're hiring a voice actor for an audiobook to narrate an audiobook, we may listen for 10 minutes, right? We want to hear character development and consistency and stamina and breath control. And we want to hear all sorts of things. If we're hiring a voice actor to narrate a commercial, we just need to hear 3 seconds perhaps. So there's just many, many variables. That's the word I needed before, variables. So it's not a one easy answer to the question.
They were helping you in the chat. They said factors, elements.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
We appreciate the contributions.
Yeah, the words.
That's
The nice thing about being in the voiceover industry is everything's written out for you, so you don't have to use your brain and think of words. The only time I ever have to think of words is on like a call like this. I have to actually think of the words to say. Everything else is written out. So anyway,
yeah. Has anyone ever, in your for my presenters in the space, when you're in the middle of talking and you stop knowing what you're talking about, you're like, what was I?
no, that happens all
That's
the
never
time to
happened
me.
to
Yeah.
me. That's never happened to me. But just saying, ever all the time. Yes. Sarah, Dina's like a squirrel. I saw a squirrel and I forgot everything. Oh boy. Okay. That's great. So this is kind of probably a more group sort of chat question because we don't know really anything about this, but we're here. If people are auditioning on Voice 123 and are y'all reading the entire audition script or just part of it? And if you want to just drop in the chat your Voice 123 audition experience and sort of just see how y'all are doing that sort of thing. But regarding the demos from Tim. Hey Tim, great to see you. David, how early in the process of listening to people's demos do you consider the audio quality? How early?
I'm trying to think how fast the brain can respond. Maybe it's 0.01 of a second. I mean, that is, guys, that is the first impression. And so that's critical. If the audio quality, like we just spoke about this, if the audio quality not industry standard, if it doesn't sound like broadcast standard, then the chance that you get hired is pretty slim to none, right? Now, the only time I could see getting hired is if someone is listening to your demo and they're only considering you and they're not trained in this industry, so they don't necessarily hear the difference between industry standard quality and lower grade quality, and they're not listening to other demos, so they can't even compare the two back to back. Maybe you get hired for like a local thing like that, but for the most part, if the audio quality is not absolutely perfect, the chance of getting hired is pretty slim. And what is very unfortunate, extremely unfortunate, is that we see in blogs all of the time, Edge Studio blogs and other blogs out there in the industry, people, voice actors, write, look, I audition all the time on Voice 123 or voices.com or Bodalgo, or I send in auditions to agencies or to studios like Edge Studio, and I never, ever get hired. It's a waste of time. I can tell you, I've heard those demos or those auditions, and the quality is horrible. Of course, someone's not hired. And it's a shame too, because sometimes we listen to someone's voice on their demo or their audition, and their performance is terrific, but the quality is not there. So we can't hire them to record from home. And I'm sure everyone knows that the vast majority of projects that you ever work on will be recorded at your home studio. So hiring someone, well, unless we were going to hire someone to come into our studio, then assuming we rely on them to record from their home, that quality has to be there. Oh, and actually another concern, even if we are bringing in a voice actor into our own studio to record something, we think, oh, their performance is great. We don't need to be worried about their low quality at their home studio. Well, what happens if the client down the road wants a redo of something? They want one word re-recorded. So it'd be really easy for us, way easier to have the voice actor record one word from their home studio and send it to us rather than have to bring them back in and have our engineers get involved. So that's yet another reason why it's important to have good quality at your home studio.
I also want to ask, oh yes, so Anne, it would be good to book a session with someone from our team to evaluate our sound studio, and Dan would be the man for that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
He
Dan
will.
Friedman is on our team. He's been with us for like 10 years or something. And yeah, he's great. He's a voice actor, he's an engineer. You can send in an audio file to us, send it to our office, and they can get it to Dan. I don't know the charge for that, but it's definitely worthwhile. If he picks up one thing that enhances your audio quality, then it could be well worth it.
And he for folks who were with us our last session, Dan was that's our guy. That's our home studio expert. So definitely reach out to us for some sound consulting. And he is a lovely guy. Daniel knows it because first of all, they share a name. They're already doing great. But Dans know when other Dans are lovely. That's also a thing. Okay, from Jeff. Also, I'm happy that people have made it to join us. It's great to see Barry. We got Cleon. We got Susan. Yeah, we got our regulars back in the house. It's really good to see y'all. So, okay, from yes, it is Josh. Let me get that for you. And but while I do that, I will first pitch another question from Jeff to David. David, should you record your demo at the studio, preferably versus Source Connect from home, or it doesn't matter as long as home condition is broadcast profesh quality?
Yeah, the latter. Well, there's one consideration. Let me talk in a bit more detail. So, yes, there's nothing wrong with recording your demo from your home studio as long as the quality is there. We can do it by Source Connect or IPDTL, however you want to connect with us. That's all fine. Anytime we record a demo from a voice actor's home, we always do an audio check, always. And if it's not really right, if the audio quality is not pristine, then we're going to say, we don't recommend you do this thing. Come into our studio if you want, or beef up your home studio first, whatever it is. But the other consideration is that for some, when you're recording your voiceover demo, you're pretty nervous. Not everyone, but some people get really, really nervous. And so if you're at home and you're nervous, well, now you have to contend with being nervous and monitoring your equipment. So sometimes for some voice actors, especially emerging voice actors, it's a load off of their shoulders to come into our studios and record with us live. So they don't need to worry about monitoring the mic levels and noise levels. They don't need to worry about lawnmowers in the background of their studio or anything like that. It's a big peace of mind, I think, for them. So this is a personal choice, but we're certainly open to recording your demo in studio or from your home, as long as we approve your home studio quality.
Yeah, and that peace of mind is something that nothing can buy, you know? What a wonderful thing. Okay, cool. So let's keep it going. Okay, great. I have dropped the link in the chat for booking a session with Dan. It's officially a home studio consultation. So you get a whole hour to hang out and let him criticize you. And you know what? It'll be fine. It'll be fun.
Hey, he's not
Oh boy.
criticizing you, he's criticizing your studio, right? Big
Studio.
difference.
Yep. Yeah. That's okay. We can take it. We're in this industry. Um, will the mic pick up my knees knocking, says Jimmy. It just might. So you better do some yoga and stretch it out.
Well, we
Calm
once had a
yourself.
voice actor who tapped his. Well, we had a voice actor who kept tapping his foot. For some reason, he was unable to record without. I don't know if you can hear this. Like kind of do with his foot. So eventually, we had to find some pads of foam and have him take a shoe off. So at least it was a soft sock hitting the foam, and it was okay. We could lower some, very low end bass with equalizer and get rid of it. But it was funny. The guy, every time he read, he'd start tapping his foot.
He needs some yoga too, sounds like. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Jeff, you're so welcome. Tim, this is an interesting question. And here, let's just see. David, I understand what you're saying actually, but I think what Tim is asking is, can we come to you to record your demo and configure your studio with the kind of gear we would have in our home studio so that our demo and our services qual is exactly the same, but can we like bring stuff into Edge to do that?
You can absolutely bring your microphone and your headphones, but nothing else. Well, you can bring other stuff. We're not going to use it. But let me explain why. Because all of our stuff is sort of hardwired through the system, and it's pretty major to change our components. But that is a terrific question. And yes, we've had voice actors in past bring their mic and or their headphones, and that is a terrific thing. There's
And
it makes your demo that is recorded in our studio sound more like the demo that you would record at your home studio. So that's a great idea.
great question, really good question. And yeah, everything else you can show us, your audio interface, that's cool. We'll look at it. But it's but yeah, it would be that, but that's great. I'm so glad to know that. And while we are waiting, if
Well,
you have
actually,
more questions.
and sorry, wait, I'm sorry, Siobhan, sorry to interrupt again. But to that question, if you're bringing a condenser mic, like a standard mic, you can bring your interface also. If you're going USB, you won't need an interface, of course. But yeah, you could bring a mic and an interface. That's fine.
Ooh, okay. Well, look, now we're learning more things. Okay, you all are hilarious. Barry, you are hilarious. Okay, so I have a question for you, David. From me, okay? This is something I was thinking about because I was updating my voiceover website and I was just thinking about this. How important is it to have all the specs of your home studio on your website? So like, do you care about what kind of mic I have and what kind of interface, what kind of paneling I got? Do you care about all that stuff, the details of those things? Or are you just like, can she operate out of a home studio?
I think every voice actor should list their equipment for a couple of reasons. Number one, some clients don't care. They won't read it. They don't even like. They honestly will never even get to that part of your website. They just hear your demo. They say you sound right, and they hire you. But other clients at the other end of the spectrum are very curious about your equipment. Seeing the list of equipment shows that you are more sophisticated in terms of your studio is more sophisticated. It shows them that you take this more seriously. Some clients over the years I've seen look at a website of a voice actor and read the specs, like the microphone type and the interface type and all of the stuff, and say, I don't even know what this is. Like, what brand microphone is that? I've never heard that word, they say, but it sounds impressive. And so that's still important. So because you don't know who's looking at your website, better to have it than not have it. So absolutely list it. And Siobhan, you asked a great question about the acoustics, right? Should you talk about paneling in the background or padding rather? You should. It's so seldom that I see a voice actor's website actually list out down to that degree. Most websites list out the equipment, and that's great, but they don't list out the acoustics of the space, and that's not great. And the acoustics play, sorry, let me say that differently. The acoustics of your recording room play such an integral part in the sound, in your sound quality, that it should be listed. So you should say, I'm in a sound proofed room or acoustically treated room with sound acoustic paneling all around me for pristine audio, broadcast standard, industry standard. Come up with something that sounds good, right? And
What
then
I
list out the
wrote for
equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for that aspect, what I wrote was space is treated with. So then, you can like describe how you're treating your, if you're looking for language. I felt satisfied about that, but that's great. David, I have a question
Yeah, but
about,
wait, hang on a sec. But the words
yeah,
starting with space, I don't think is a necessarily a good idea, because context, I don't know if someone will know what, when you say space, like, do they mean your office space, your recording space? I mean, we're all thinking of recording space, but to a client who's really new at this, maybe they're thinking
Mhm.
outer space. Who knows? Space has asteroids in it. I would just say my recording space, or my recording booth, or something of
Okay.
the sort. My home
Yeah.
studio space or something.
Yes. So then, and yes, Miriam, Edge Studio can help with your website. And you can book a consultation for that as well, to look at your overall branding and online presence. And we can spend a lot of time on your website to really give you some feedback. And so I want to say too, David, I feel like there's 5 components that I like to see on a voice actor's website. And I want to know which one you want to see first, or like how to rank this kind of, like, because you could scroll forever on a website, right? So I feel
Mhm.
like when I look at things, I like to see, of course, demos, uh, your gear list. I like to see testimonials, maybe like some quotes, uh, a form, or a contact form, or how to get in touch, and then maybe I don't know, a list of clients perhaps. So like, what do you want to see first? Or do to like, if you scroll too long and you don't see that thing, like what should be at the top of that list when you hit somebody's website?
Yeah, I've always said that there are three components to your website. First thing you need to do is have a visitor to your website, have your demos. Make it up front and center. It doesn't need to be on a second page, it should be on the first page. The primary reason someone goes to your website is to hear your voice. Put it on the home page. Or if you have multiple demos, at most maybe have 1 or 2 demos on your home page, and then have another page for all of your demos. So on your home page, here's my commercial demo and my narration demo. And for all demos, click to this other page. But have your key demos up front and center. First thing people hear. First thing a client wants to know is, do you have the right voice? Are you the right type of person to even consider hiring? If they like your demos, the second thing you need to convey is trust, right? We spoke about this about 15 minutes ago. You need to make sure that the client knows that they can trust you. And you do that, as you said, Siobhan, through testimonials, through logos of clients, talking about the specs of your studio, the equipment, the acoustics of your studio, quotes, even from a coach that you've worked with. My coach, had this great thing to say about how quickly I perform, or whatever it is. Find something, some way to convey trust. Maybe it's your background, even if you're brand new in voiceover, maybe it's your background, that you come from a business background or medical background, and something like that, that the client can say, you know what, they have the right demo, so they have the voice. Clearly, they have something that ties them to this job, or some experience that I can trust. And then the third component of the website would be the contact information. I am a strong, very strong believer that you should have a contact form, an email address, and a phone number. I will tell you from our own production department, over 32 years of doing this, or 33 years now, roughly half of our clients contact us via our contact form on our website, and the other half of the clients contact us personally, either through email or phone. Some clients like to call and hear a voice. They want a human voice. They want a quick response. Listen, I got a job. It's later today. Do you have anyone in the studio? Can we get this done? They don't want to take the time to fill out a form and hope the form is viewed in the next 2 hours. They want to call and hear a voice. Some people prefer the email. Some people don't want to talk with anyone. They want that contact form. So have all these options on your website. So just to recap, have your demos be up front and center, number one, convey trust, number two, and then make it easy for them to contact you. That's at least my 2 cents.
I thank you, David. Yeah, it's I was, been thinking about all these things, and I'm like, I wonder what David thinks. So thanks everyone for entertaining me in this moment. Nikita in Dubai is going to record their first demo on the 20th. Congratulations.
Yeah, nice.
Hooray. Yes, we're all super happy for you. And Nikita is asking for any tips. First time in a studio. How do you look smart and don't feel
Well, But that's the nice thing about voiceover. You don't have to look smart. You just have to sound smart. I think everyone on the call probably knows the classic expression in our industry, you have a face for radio. Like, who cares what you look like? It's great. My tips are this for your first time, for any time you're recording a demo, get do everything you absolutely can to be as comfortable as you can. So you're recording your demo next week, Siobhan said. So you have a week. So start a list. What makes you comfortable? Is it having a certain beverage or a piece of chocolate? Is it getting extra sleep? Is it getting to wherever it is that you're recording at the studio 2 hours early, so you have lots of time to veg and you don't need to worry about traffic or being late or whatever it is? Is it wearing a comfy pair of sweatpants or pajamas? You could wear pajamas when you record your demo because no one cares what you look like, right? Do everything you possibly can to be as comfortable and as relaxed as you can. Maybe that's some meds, whatever it is, do what you have to do. Um, I guess if it's med, you better try it a couple of days before and see if you can still, read a script without stumbling on the words. But or even a glass of wine. But make sure you're comfortable. Second thing, and please hear me in this one. Even if you do everything you can to be comfortable and relaxed, you'll still be nervous. The fact that you're asking this question, I bet that you're going to be nervous, but that's okay. Expect it. Don't be concerned that you're nervous, but have a game plan. So what I would suggest is when you get to the studio, make sure you record your first script after you've set recording levels, and tell the engineer that you'll want to go back at the end of the session and re-record the first script. Let them know. Say, you know what? I'm probably going to be a little rusty at first, a little nervous. So if you don't mind, like to record the first script, maybe even the first two scripts, maybe let me read down all of my 5 scripts or 10 scripts right off the bat. And then let's go back and re-record anything. Make sure you have, so I guess another way to say this is make sure you have enough time scheduled with the studio, more than ample time scheduled with the studio. So you don't feel like you need to race the clock. And instead you have plenty of time to go back and re-record once you are comfortable. A lot of voice actors are nervous beyond belief when they start recording their demo. And it makes sense to me. I can understand why. So just have enough time to go back and re-record and don't worry about it. Expect it. It's normal. And if you know what, if someone's not nervous, I would question, like, why aren't you nervous? Like, this is a big deal. This is the step, your demo is the step between you and work, and you've been working and training for this. You should be nervous. If someone is so cavalier about it that they don't even care about, or have care to be nervous, maybe something's lacking. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, expect it and just do what you can to sound great.
Wow, that is fantastic advice. I agree with everything David said. Nikita, I will say to you, this may seem like a lot, but 15 deep breaths in and out, 15 times. It's gonna change the way your It's so good. It's like people are like, remember to breathe, Siobhan. You all know me, so you're like, that girl don't breathe, and I don't. So it really helps me when I have to focus and center and not feel like I'm gonna get the shakes, which can happen. Caffeine addict or an undersleeper that I am. Additionally, I really appreciate this concept. I've never thought of it, but like, yeah, redo your first, do your like bookend your session with your first script or your first spot. Like that's brilliant. What a good idea, David. So that then you can feel, because you are going to get into the flow. And I work with a lot of actors in life in general, and when your heart is racing, it's like it's good. It means that you care. It means that you're challenging yourself, and the world, life is short, and the world, like, catapults us forward, and we might as well have like butterflies and like feelings of nervousness, because it means that you're like living and you're out there doing the thing that you are really invested in. So use that to be excited, because the first time I stepped into a voiceover booth, I felt like hella important. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm really cool. It's cool that I'm in, Dina knows what I'm talking about, and so does Barry. So we're all super excited for you. And if other people want to drop in the chat things that have helped them when they go into record, especially going in somewhere where you're working with an engineer and you're like, I want the engineer to think that I'm smart, all of that. So what a fantastic question. And David, just killer advice. It's as if he knows things. He's like, it's like he knows what he's talking about or something. So Tanya, this is a great question. Tanya, She says, my recording studio is a gutted walk-in closet. No, I'm sure we've got some friends in the space with a similar sitch. Acoustically, it's great, but I'm spending 6 to 8 hours in a dark, hot, airless room. And boy, does my seasonal depression feel for you right there. How can a studio have natural light and be more comfortable? David, this is $1 million question. I don't know the answer.
Yeah. Well, it can be done. I mean, so I don't know how many of you have been to our studios in New York City, but our studios all have natural light, or almost every studio does. And that is critical to me. So many studios are in basements and small closets and things, and I don't know. That's just not for me. I really prefer being outside. So our space is painted bright green. When you walk off of the elevators and onto our floor in right outside Times Square in New York City, the whole space is bright green. We have big, huge, like almost life-size stickers of trees on a couple of the walls. There's lots of windows, and it makes a big difference. The lighting inside the space is LED lighting that has actually some special filtered light in it, or the light bulbs do. So there's more of a natural light feel. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but over the years I've read articles on natural light bulbs, and they theoretically do affect our brains differently. You could try that. Um, but if you're spending 6 or 8 hours in your booth, that means that you're working, right? That means that you're working quite a bit. And for your own psyche, maybe it makes sense to just transition out of your closet into a different studio. And you can put windows into a booth and have them be soundproofed, and you can build special windows that really do hold or block the sound in and out. It's expensive, but maybe spending a couple grand will save you that much more money in therapy bills over the following years. I mean, maybe it will add years to your life. I mean, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it can be a business expense. I'm not a taxed financial planner or advisor, so I can't say that, if that's accurate or not. But I don't know if you can deduct it off of your income. That's great. So I think natural light does wonders. And honestly, if you think you'll read better because you're not sweating in a dark little, you know, uh, I forget the word you call, like a gutted out closet. If you think you'll just perform better, maybe you'll win more work as a result. And so maybe it will actually pay off for itself. I don't know. I think you should make sure that your space is comfortable. I think that is critical. Of course, if you're brand new, you don't necessarily want to spend thousands of dollars installing a window, but it can be done. Oh, one other thing. So in terms of acoustics, there are two things to consider. Okay. And this is going to sound like a sidetrack, but it's really important information tied to what we're talking about. So when it comes to acoustics, there's or there's soundproofing and there's sound treatment. Soundproofing is making sure that you stop unwanted sound from getting onto your microphone. Sound treatment is making sure that your voice doesn't echo around your booth. So you can buy thick glass, as I mentioned, that will help soundproof your studio. But the glass itself is very hard and sound bounces off of it. So many engineers will tell you, you don't really want too much glass in the studio, if any at all, because it's a hard surface. Your voice will bounce off of it and cause some echo inside your booth. But there is a product that you can purchase that goes on glass that stops a lot of the echo. It's a very thin adhesive that goes onto the glass, filled with thousands or millions, perhaps, of tiny little holes. It's sort of like a screen, like a mesh screen of some fabric, though, but it lays and just sticks to the glass. It's expensive. I don't know the exact price. I've never seen it in person, but I've read articles on it, so I don't know how much it costs either. But everyone that I've heard use it in the industry says it's expensive, but it works. So if you have one small window, maybe it's worth it. Another option, perhaps, is that you have a glass installed in your gutted out closet, thick glass so it's soundproofed, and you have a curtain over it, a thick, dark curtain. So when you're recording, you close the curtain to stop the sound. And when you're editing, then you open up the curtain and you have natural light. And maybe that would work out well for you. Just some
Also,
ideas.
if my idea, if the natural light is not an option, you can get some LEDs and make it pretty. They make those
Yeah.
strips, and you can get those strips in pink or purples or blues. You can get fairy lights to get a little twinkle magic going on. You can find other ways to use artificial light, because sometimes it'd be like that. And it can still make you feel good in there to have some kind of special light. We haven't seen Howard in a hot minute, but our friend in the UK, his space is pink. It's just like this lovely pink Zoom square in his studio, and he's doing some artificial light in there because it's dark. So there are other ways of working with art, and more now that everyone wants to be a TikTok star. There's all kinds of ways to like light a small and potentially dark space artificially that still might make you happy to be in there. I mean, I think to David's point, whatever you're doing, you want to like it. And I'll say this too, and I know we're kind of going to wrap up, but I was working with a student at Edge, and he was like, I want to post boothies, selfies in your booth, right? And he's like, but Siobhan, my booth is my first booth. It's like it got these like blanket panel, like it's just like it doesn't look very good. And I was like, let's get some LEDs and make it look prettier in there. And I was like, also, you can still share that it's your first booth that you're working on and it's going to get better. And that can still be part of your journey, that you have begun somewhere. We're all starting somewhere, and you can still post that and like be proud of like having a starting point. And it may not be perfect, but like you are on your journey, and there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. We're constant works in progress of like making things better. So I was really trying to motivate him. I was like, put it on the internet. But I'm not saying anybody has to do that. But yeah, purple panels. Okay, John. That's great. Tanya, I'm so glad. This is wonderful. So in our last session, acoustic blankets, draping them over a frame. David, do you recommend that or not for blanketing your space? You would drape them over a
And
frame, right?
whichever, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And preferably
yeah,
without the wood on the outside of the frame. Yeah. Like a canvas wrapped
yeah,
frame for a artwork on your wall. Yeah. Blankets are fine.
yeah.
Pillows are fine. Couch cushions are great. They're thick. You can put a long nail right through it into the wall. I mean, it's weird looking, but they sound great. Hang a sheet over it when it's all done. It doesn't have to
I
cost anything really.
And I love this. Our friends at Sweetwater with the panels being more colors. We don't have to like our space. Boy, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work what we all are doing. Rocking the moving blankets, couch cushions over windows. Yeah, we're all making it work. So never feel, please, please, please. The last thing I want you to do is feel discouraged about your home studio. And especially for folks who are starting from, you're just learning as you go. And eventually you just don't give up. A lot of work, but you can do it, and it's totally worth it. So don't give up, because there's a lot of reasons to give up, and I don't want you to be the people that give up for those many reasons. There's more reasons to keep going than to give up. Okay, so with that being said, need some red and black panels. Got to go. Jerry, great to see you. Enjoy your Atlanta afternoon. Yeah, David, any final words in summation for our session today? I'm so glad everyone found their way to us. Sorry about the broken links. Weirdly, we're not flawless. We're like basically flawless, but like not totally. So
It happens.
oh, David, yeah, any last I don't know, any thesis based on all the things we've talked about today?
Well, I would like to throw in one last thing to that last conversation. Sorry about that. Um, it dawned on me a moment ago that that question that she asked had two parts to it. One was about the light or dark of the studio, but also that it's hot. And so, guys, you can purchase acoustic treated fans for your office for your recording space. There is such a product, which is great. So let me back up and say this: there are a lot of voice actors who are in these tiny little rooms, whether it's a pre-built booth or a little closet, a gutted out closet or something. And yeah, it gets hot when you're in those rooms and you're recording. So a lot of voice actors just take a break every once in a while, open the door, get some air in, maybe have a fan right outside. You turn on for a moment and sort of flush the air quickly. But there's actually products called acoustic. I don't know if they're necessarily called specifically acoustic fans, but they are fans made to be acoustic quiet. And some of the companies that sell prefab booths, recording booths, sell these little fans, and they're really cool. They typically go on the outside of your room, and they just have one little tube that leads to the inside to blow some fresh air in there, and another little tube somewhere that brings air out. But inside the actual fan itself, the air goes through like a whole bunch of loops. So the like, I'm not sure what to call it, like the tubing that carries the air in and out is flexible. And instead of being like a straight line in and out, it's like intestines, like it all coiled around each other. And theoretically, every time the air has a 90-degree turn, the volume of the airflow is cut in half. So if your tube that carries the cool fan, rather the cool air into your booth, if that tube has 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns in it, well, now the volume of the fan noise, that humming sound, is cut in half and half again and half again. So there's these little like prefab units that you can purchase, these fans, and inside, like I said, it looks like intestines. It's just this twisted old tube, and they work great. They're a little pricey, I'm guessing a couple $100 for a small booth, but that's quality of life right there. And again, if, as I said earlier, if you can take that off your taxes, that's great. So that's it. Siobhan. I think we lost Siobhan. Is it just me? Guys, give me a thumbs up. Did we lose Siobhan? Yeah. Okay. We carry on. Guys, this was episode 40. That is so cool. Siobhan and I and all of It Studio super duper appreciate you being with us. And Siobhan has access to the chat. I'm not looking at the chat right now. I try real hard to look at my camera. I keep staring at that camera right now. But I will tell Siobhan that we lost her at some point. She probably knows. And usually what she does around this time of the session is she puts some links in there. There's a link to get $25 off any coaching session. So she'll add that. And you guys should use it. Take advantage of it. You can use that $25 coupon toward home studio consultation with Dan Friedman. Siobhan mentioned Johnny Heller, who is our audiobook specialist. He's just an amazing individual and a wonderful audiobook coach and narrator. You could use it toward a session with me, with Siobhan for marketing your website. And you have our, I think, about 26 coaches, and that would be great. So take advantage of that. So I'll tell Siobhan to post that. She usually puts a link to today's video up online. So
Hi.
that will be posted. Oh,
Hi.
I hear you. I don't see you, but I hear you. There
I'm
you are.
here. My
Yeah,
internet. Hi, my internet is like dead and I'm here on a phone hotspot. I'm so sorry to leave you all like that. I was so
that's okay.
panicked when everything was frozen. Talk about, being nervous and like, caring. I was like, oh my gosh, you are okay, great. I'm in here like I never left. The chat is back. Okay, y'all. I'm sure, David, I'm sure you were closing out beautifully though. I do not mean to steal your thought. I know you have this,
It was my
but
first close, but I hope it went well. Yeah, we talked about you'll post this online. You'll put up a couple of links for the $25 off. Any other links
yes.
that are relevant to today's conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you could say the
Yes.
official goodbye, Siobhan, because it is great seeing everyone. So I'll let you do such a good job with
Oh my
that.
gosh. Thank you. Thank you. It's great seeing you all. Again, we talked about websites. This is our business and marketing consultation. And you can also request to work with moi. And I will talk to you about your online branding and I will do it kindly and lovingly. Someone who might be, who is, no, I actually like to give him a hard time, but he's amazing. Dan Friedman, this is our product for business home studio. No, that was a business consult. Okay, forgive me. I'm getting the home studio consultation thrown overboard. Here she is, and I'm like all over the place. But additionally, we have our get your $25 off code here. This is it. So if you want to book any of those sessions with you've used the code AMA. If you are especially new to Edge Studio, that will be where you can do that. And then finally, let me bring us back. You know what? David needs to go. Okay, I've lost the link. I'm flustered. You know what? Okay, here we go. So y'all, thank you for your time. I know it's already 2:00 and somewhere I have a link to get Dan time and I will put it in twice. That was marketing. And I'm scrolling up because I didn't drop it in my chat and that is here. Oh, hell. Oops. Heck yes. Guys, this is a home studio session with Dan. Okay, and this is live events, live theater. I hope, boy, what a time. Okay, hey, this was our 40th session. Thanks for being with us. We're 40 years old today. And yesterday we were just 21. So that's wild. I appreciate you all so much. We will be back with Issa Diaz. That will be, he's so great. It's his first time with us. That is on the 21st. He is an Edge Studio alumni who we later begged to come please coach for us because he's just so fantastic. So little inspo for you
Also,
all who
and
are.
he's wait, and he's unbelievably successful. That's the key thing. He's a monster out there in the commercial world. Unbelievable how well he's done in voiceover.
He's so
National spots.
he's so successful that he must be begged. So yes, mwah, thank you all. Thank you all for being with me. Thank you for the birthday love. Thank you for the kindness of you and your gorgeous faces in your beautiful Zoom squares. David, as always, it is a pleasure to spend this time with you. And we will see you again on the 21st. Happy autumn. Hope you all have some sunshine. Or if you hate that and love, gloomy weather, I hope you get everything you want this week. Okay, mwah. Nikita, break a leg
Thank,
next week.
thank you, Siobhan. Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody. Take care. Bye.